Hey everybody, Jamie the Board Game Man back again. In this episode, we're going to look at a card game from the year 2018, which is influenced by Spinal Tap back in the day. Yeah, it's the game that cranks it past 10. It's called This Game Goes to 11. It's by Gamewright Games. It plays 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, plays give or take about 20 minutes. In this game, what you're doing is you have a discard pile and you're trying to add cards to the discard pile that adds to 11. If you go under 11, you're good to go. It passes to the next player. But if they go over 11, they grab that discard pile, and the game ends when the draw pile ends, and whoever has the least amount of points. That's simple. So let's head on over to the gamer's table, where I'm going to show you how to play This Game Goes to 11. Yeah! All right, everybody, here we are at the gaming table. Here is This Game Goes to 11 by Gamewright Games. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you what is inside of this rockin' box. We got the game instructions. You can see it just folds out just like so. You do a quick little read, and it has English on one side and Spanish on the other side. Okay, we'll put those aside. You also have the cards that look like speakers, which is really cool. And you also have a guitar pick. Now, the guitar pick you actually don't play in the regular game. There's an alternative way to play, and I'll show you that after I show you how to play the regular game. I'll show you what the guitar pick does in the alternative game. Not much difference, but you'll see a difference here. Okay, so all you have is a pack of 72 cards that have different numbers on the back. Okay, as you can see here. And what you're doing is, in this game, is you're trying to bring the discard pile to 11 without going over. If you go over, you must take that discard pile and put it face down next to you, and the game continues until the card stack runs out and all players run out of cards in their hands. Then you're going to count up your cards. Whoever has the least amount of points wins the game. Pretty simple. There you go. So let's go ahead and show you the setup here. Every player is going to start with 3 cards. You can 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 face down. Then you're going to go ahead and put the cards right here, the draw pile, and then you're going to go ahead and take the top card and place it as the first of the discard pile. Now, player 1's going to go ahead and start. He's going to look at his cards, and he's going to try not to go over 11. If he goes over 11, he takes the stack. If he goes under 11, then that's fine. Then it goes to the next player, and that player must keep it under 11, unless you get 11 exactly. So here's first player here. He looks. He gets, he has a 5. I didn't even plan that. That's actually perfect. What he does is he puts it on the 5, and after you put the number down, you're going to say out loud how much the discard pile is. So in this instance, this was 6. I go 11. Then what I would do, if I score an exact 11, I would take this pile and choose a player to give this to. I choose to give this to player 2. And player 2 would take them, put them face down next to him, make sure he doesn't draw from this pile. This is face down. That's how many points that player 2 has already. Okay. After I played my card, I would go ahead and draw back to 3 cards. Now it's player's 2 turn. Now he's going to go ahead and start the draw pile, or the discard pile, I should say, with one of his cards. Let's just say he wants to start with 3. Okay, so he puts the 3 down. Then good old player 3 over here is going to look at his, and he's going to say he sees a 5. So he's going to go ahead and play a 5. Now he's going to say 8. So he says 8 out loud. Make sure this person grabs a card. After he puts 8, he's going to go ahead and grab a card himself. Okay. Then player 1 goes back. He remembers there's an 8 here. And he has a librarian. Now the librarian does 2 different things. Okay. You can either just play it normally. If you play this normally, then the pile goes back to 0. Okay. As simple as that. If a player plays an 11, which is another special card, which is kind of cool. See, wait, it's kind of shimmery. It's kind of cool. If you play an automatic 11, okay, you can automatically say, I want to give this stack to so-and-so. But if you have a librarian, then what happens is it doesn't even have to be your turn. You can say, shh, librarian, and boom, you put that on top. And then that person that played the 11 has to take that whole stack. Boom, just like that. So that's a power of the librarian. She is very powerful in this game. So you, like I said, you can play it two different ways. You can just go ahead and nullify what's in that discard pile from 8 to 0 and you start back up again. Or if somebody plays an 11, doesn't have to be the player next to you. It doesn't even have to be your turn. You can play the librarian and say, shh, librarian, and that person that laid down the 11 gets that whole stack. So that can backfire on that player. So that's what the librarian does. And like I said, if you just play the 11 straight up, then obviously you would choose whatever player you want to give that stack to, and then they will go ahead and take it. Now, one thing you want to know is, let's go ahead and bring this back that everyone gets 3 cards here, and we'll go this to 1, okay? So let's just say it is players 2's turn, okay? And they decide they want to play a 1, which is the same number that's on here. In this game, you cannot stack the same number on top of each other. If you do so, you must put a second stack, and now you have 2 discard piles going on at the same time. That goes for any of the numbers from 1 to 9. So say you had a 5 here, you want to play another 5, well, that 5 goes over here. You cannot double up the numbers on top of each other. And that's how that works. And then, next thing you know, you've got player 3 over here looking, going, okay, 6. And then he draws a card. Back to 3. And this player goes over here and goes, let's see, so he says, what was that? That was 6. Now, sometimes it's hard to remember what was in there. And let's just say he says 10. And he draws a card. Now he has to hope he has an 11. Oh, I forgot to draw a card here. And he doesn't have 11. He's going to end up going over, but then he can go over here and keep himself alive. 9. Okay? And so on. He draws a card. And that's how you do that. Now, the only time that you can use the librarian on an 11 is if it's 11 card. You cannot have it add up to 11, like say this was 9 and then someone put a 2 on there as 11 and then use the librarian. The librarian only works on the 11 card. I almost forgot to mention that, so I'll make sure I throw that out there. Okay, only when an 11 card is used, then you can use the librarian, and then it backfires on the person that played that 11 card. Okay, just want to make sure I left that in there. Don't want to forget that. Okay, and that's pretty much how the game goes until someone grabs this, and then it goes back to like a one discard pile, and so on. Then he goes, and so on, until all the cards are taken, and also all the cards that are in the player's hands. As soon as all those cards are played, that's when you go back through, you add up all your cards. Whoever has the least amount of points wins the game. Now let's go ahead and show you the alternative. There's not too big of a difference when it comes to the guitar pick. You can see it says Gamewright on it. The Gamewright guitar pick. The only difference in this, let me double check to make sure this is right. It plays exactly like the regular game. Okay, you play exactly the same thing. The only difference is, say the first player gets the pick in front of them, okay? And when the pile goes to 11, the guitar pick, let's see, to start, give the guitar pick to the player who goes first. As soon as the pile reaches 11, whoever has the guitar pick takes the pile and then passes the pick to the player on their left. That's the only difference. It's not a matter of, let's choose who gets it, or whoever puts the last one down gets it. It's whoever has the guitar pick. I don't know if, and it just goes from player to player. And then if it goes to 11, then obviously that player gets the cards. That's pretty much the only reason why the guitar pick is in there. I think I might like the original version better, but you know what? You can play it both ways, and it depends on what you like the most. So there you have it, my friends. That is This Game Goes to 11, the card game. Now let's head on over to the gaming room, and I'll tell you what I think about it. All right, so my final thoughts on This Game Goes to 11. You know what? I think this is a great little intro game because it's very, very light. But if you have friends or family or maybe neighbors that maybe one day you just break it out, like maybe everyone's outside and people are barbecuing or something, and you go outside and you break out this card game and you just kind of start to play, you never know. You never know what could happen, and they can have a lot of fun. They play one game like, hey, that was pretty fun, let's play it again. And then at the end of the night, you know, they're kind of sitting there going, you know, that was kind of fun. What other games do you have? Oh, and that might open the door for other possibilities. You never know. And I think this is one of those games that could possibly do that. It's very simple to teach. Takes you 30 seconds to a minute to teach them. And I think this would be a really great, I guess you could say, a gateway game to card games. I mean, it's very, very simple. And like I said, if it opens doors to bring other games in, there you go. I think it's a good hook game where you can get some friends and family and maybe even some neighbors involved and maybe playing some games. I think this will be a great one to do. So on that note, I give This Game Goes to 11 a thumbs up. And hopefully you'll do the same for this episode. If you enjoyed it, you can give me one of those. That'd be great. And until next time, everybody, happy gaming.